the second one. Yeah, g'day everybody. Farmer Wade here for Billboard Battalion. Today we're coming to you live from Parliament House in Canberra in the Australian Capital Territory of Australia. This is Australia's capital city for those who are coming from overseas. So we just want to talk today. Billboard Battalion have been in Canberra for the last two sitting days, and we're here particularly interested in seeing a bill put before the upper house, the Senate. It's already passed the lower house, and this is a bill called the National Environmental Protection Agency Bill. This is so dangerous to Australia, it's catastrophic. This is designed to be a part of a suite that gives the World Health Organization total control over Australia. So, but in the meantime, we haven't seen this bill be debated yet in the upper house, and we probably expect it's going to happen tomorrow, which will be Wednesday the 26th of November 2025. So in the meantime, yesterday in the Senate here in Canberra, there were some pretty unreal things happened. Normally it's pretty docile and pretty mundane, pretty boring in fact. Well, unless you take into account that they're making decisions in there that destroy your life. But that's another thing. So we saw Pauline Hanson, who's the leader of One Nation, presented to the Senate a bill that she wanted to be presented there and debated, and it was about banning the burkas from being worn in public areas and face coverings. So this riled the feathers of a few extremist lefties and in fact pretty well all of the Senate. So they ended up deciding to not even let Pauline Hanson's bill be heard. So therefore Pauline disappeared out of the Senate chamber for the next thing that was going to be done, the next part of parliamentary business. And she returned wearing a big long black burqa. Now, Billboard Battalion was sitting in the gallery watching this live. We were seeing it, we were there in the gallery only a few metres from where this was happening. And when Pauline Hanson came into the chamber, the Senate chamber, wearing this black thing, this burqa, as you can imagine, a few of the extremist lunatic lefties started to carry on, but also so did a lot of the supposedly conservative side. So it was very interesting that Pauline Hanson went and took her place on one side of the parliament to vote for the next thing that was coming up. And then the barrages of abuse and accusations and commentary, the calls about her being racist and all the rest of it came from the extreme left side, who themselves are racists. And I would cite some of those people who I'm talking about, the racist ones, the hypocrisy, the liars, the anti-Australian ones, the likes of Mehreen Faruqi, and she's a senator, Senator Lydia Thorpe, Senator Fatima Payman, Larissa Waters, who's the leader of the Greens, Penny Wong, who's the leader of the Labor Party in the Senate there, and also Anne Ruston made comments that were, I believe, in my opinion, just upholding the racist tone of the Senate. And for people who think that the Senate is somewhere where all the lefties are there who talk about, they preach tolerance. No, they don't. No, they are hypocrites. The people who speak the loudest about tolerance are generally the ones who are the most intolerant. They are the ones who will resort to bullying, attrition, violence to get their way. They all talk about this tolerance and stuff, so long as you're doing what they want. And then if you don't, that's the end of the tolerance, mate. That's game on. So this whole thing, to me, is a classic example of the one-sidedness, of the dishonesty, the lies, and the pushing of a particular ideology. And I also wanted to talk here about the president of the Senate, which is a Labor senator called Sue Lines, and in my opinion, is absolutely a racist, completely a racist, and is in the business of trying to shut down specifically one nation. Now, I think she's a political bigot, and I think that she should not be there, has no right to be the president of anything, in fact. But for the first thing, we look at this bill that Pauline Hanson wanted to present about banning this burqa, and there are a hell of a lot of people in Australia, women, who are forced to wear this crap. And this is an inhumane. It is disgusting, and people know over the centuries that covering people's heads and faces has been a form of torture, a form of punishment to dehumanise people. But that's we can go down that track a little bit further in a minute. So I wanted to draw your attention to this Mehreen Faruqi, one of the primary big mouth, bigot, racist liars in the parliament. Now, this Mehreen Faruqi, earlier that day in the morning, and I've seen her do this a number of times in person, we've been there, seen it. Now, this Mehreen Faruqi wears this thing called a keffiyeh, I'm not sure how you do it, into the parliament. And what that is, it's basically a black and white scarf that has become synonymous with terrorism around the world, with people who are terrorists, who murder innocent victims, based a lot of the time on religion. Now, I want to make a special point here that a number of these people, Mehreen Faruqi, Lydia Thorpe, Fatima Payman, Larissa Waters, a lot of these people were crapping on about how Pauline Hanson shouldn't wear that in there because she's insulting religious stuff and all this sort of thing. Now, I thought to myself at the time, so if Pauline Hanson wore a burqa into the parliament, that burqa, you can say it's a religious thing. Others would say that is a symbol of oppression, of torture, of degrading women. But let's just run with the religious thing for a minute. So, who are they to judge whether Pauline Hanson wears that in there as some kind of a stunt or a prop, or perhaps she does have some religious beliefs, because none of them asked her. They all just went on a tirade, immediately attacking her. So I thought we had religious vilification laws here. I thought we had the right of religious belief or whatever. Now, they full bore attacked her on the basis of religion. So they're liars and hypocrites in the first place. Just goes to show how tolerant the intolerant are. And these are generally the left, the extremist, whack job, nutcase left. That's who this is. So when we go back to Mehreen Faruqi and this keffiyeh thing, if you look back into history, the origins of that started off as not much. Started off as just something people used to wear to keep the sun off them. Totally fine. But it evolved through the likes of Yasser Arafat and other people who push terrorism. That has become an international symbol of that kind of terrorism. Anti this terrorism, anti that, anti everything. Murder people based on their religious beliefs. That's what that's become. That is what I have described in previous lives that I've done as the Middle Eastern version of a swastika, because you see a lot of the terrorists who execute people, just gun them down. They're wearing this stuff. You see now a lot of the protests around the world about the Palestinian side of it against the Israel side of it. A lot of the people are wearing this keffiyeh thing here and calling for death for this, death for that, death for something else. And we're seeing the Muslim population who also tote this stuff when they say they call for jihad against anybody who's not Muslim. So I think that it's fair to say that this keffiyeh here should be banned in the Senate, because it is every bit as equal to wearing a swastika in there. And where all these drop-kick, deadbeat, Australia-hating racists got stuck into Pauline Hanson, where is the people in the Senate getting stuck into this Mehreen Faruqi about wearing an international symbol of hatred and murder? Where are they? So we need to ask these questions, and I think that it's fair that we do. So at this point, we wanted to do this live. I was going to do this yesterday. We had some technical issues that we had to get sorted out. So those things are sorted out now, and we're putting this up here. So I think that these are questions that we need to really ask. And we've got to say, are we serious about being anti-racist? Are we serious about being anti-violent? Because I know that the last few months in the Senate here, we've had some really big issues, some big problems about people bringing an Australian flag. Jacinta Price brought an Australian flag into the Senate just weeks ago and was condemned for doing so as it being a prop or something that was racist and all the rest of it, trying to cause trouble. So we really have to have a bit of a serious look at ourselves and at least be consistent. At least say, well, if we're going to call out racism, let's do that. If we're going to call out violence, let's do that. But not only one-sided, because there are some very serious things happening and we need to deal with them. And we need to get our country back on track. And we need to get our parliament back on track. We've got to rein in some of these clowns who call themselves politicians and say, well, at least you have to be honest, not hypocritical, and you have to not support racism. You have to not support violence. You have to not support discrimination. And you don't get to cherry pick different things that you might consider whatever, or you're just going to use them for your own political purposes, not being honest, not being straight. So therefore, we are the ones who are saying we need equality in real terms, because what we've seen so far in much of what happens in Parliament now has nothing to do with equality. It's got nothing to do with a fair go. It's got nothing to do with calling out racism, because as we see from so much now, the people who scream about racism and equality the most are the perpetrators who are effectively being the ones who are pulling that down, the ones who are exploiting their position. And the fact that the governments, most of the politicians, virtually all the media, other than us and a few other smaller people who put information out there, they cover it up. They are pushing for apartheid. We've got things happening that are racially discriminating, and they are in the business of killing people. They are supporting racial violence and murders. So let's have a little bit of fairness. And as Pauline Hanson is a senator elected, she's a representative of Queensland. What gives the Senate the right to say they're not going to hear a bill that's put up by a duly democratically elected senator, a representative of the people? Who the hell gives them the right to make that decision? So they're stepping above and beyond the power that they should have. And I, for one, say we should hear bills if they're put up. When you're into censorship, you're into attacking people. And when you're into wearing Mehreen Faruqi, okay, and this other Fatima payment, when you're into supporting the things that are about racism. You know, we look at Lydia Thorpe, just a bonehead, an absolute twit. Gets up there, carries on, yells and screams, makes a clown of herself, and claims to be representing the best interests of Aboriginal people. Well, I'm here to tell you, no, you're not. You are a part of the problem. So, Lydia Thorpe, I think you are actually helping to see Aboriginal people, huge numbers of Aboriginal people, who are being sent into destitution, bankruptcy, poverty, violence, everything like that. You have an opportunity to actually speak for the safety of Aboriginal people, and you don't. It's interesting to see that this clown, Lydia Thorpe, is constantly at war with this other clown, Dorinda Cox, I think it is. Labor loser, another supposed representative of the Aboriginal people. No, you're not. And these two half-wits are constantly at it. So it's interesting to see that our Aboriginal people are sold out by these losers, these ones in this parliament who are supposed to support them. So, and then we get to Penny Wong. My God, what a disgusting piece of crap for a human being this is. This one gets up there and she makes all these speeches and rubbish and garbage, like she did the other day with Pauline Hanson, calling for Pauline Hanson to be suspended. And I think she, from memory, I think she wanted the Parliament suspended, which happened. And then she gets up and makes all these speeches, as all the Labor people do. They are liars. They tell you about what they want to support the Australian people. They want to do away with racism. No, they do not. They are perpetrators of this, and they are barefaced liars. And I would have any one of these, anyone in the Senate right now, I would interview them on Billboard Battalion on our platforms. So feel free to reach out to them, send them this video, tell them what I think, tell them what you think, because your country is being destroyed now from the inside out. They don't need to invade us. They're already here. We don't need to see warships off the coast or planes flying over bombing or landing of troops, because they've already brought them into the country. That's what the whole plan is. So let's just do away with the racial discriminating people, the liars, the hypocrites, the people who promote and support violence, like Mehreen Faruqi, Lydia Thorpe, Fatima Payman, Larissa Waters, Sue Lyons, Penny Wong. Let's just get things so as there's at least a fair go. And a lot of people might not like Pauline Hanson, and that's people's individual choices. But let's at the very least be honest and fair. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what happens in the Senate over the next few days. Pauline Hanson's now suspended until the end of this sitting week. So the losers and the parasites have got their way again, supported of course by the so-called President of the Senate, Sue Lyons, just another Labor Party scum. What can you say? I'd be interested to talk to any of these people and say, let's have a discussion about the facts, not your ideological lies and the crap you go on with. Let's have an actual discussion and let the Australian people see what you lot are made of. Righto people, Wade Northhausen here for Billboard Battalion. We'll be back to you tomorrow with more updates. So today is Tuesday the 25th of November 2025. That's the report for what happened yesterday in the Senate. We'll be back to you